Okay, we're going to look at how to use the graphing calculator in order to graph lines. I'm not going to assume that you know how to do anything with this calculator, so we'll go through step by step all of the different keystrokes that you'll need to do. First thing you need to do is turn the calculator on keys down here, and it should come up with you at your home screen. If not, hit second mode. That always brings you back to this just sort of basic work screen here. We need to enter the equation for the line into the y equals screen. The 5 buttons at the top bring you to different screens on the calculator, and the y equal key, obviously let me get rid of that from another class, obviously a very important key. That's why it's top left hand corner. See here we have a place to put in as many as 10 different equations if we choose to. I don't think in this class are ever going to do more than 2 at a time. So we're going to be using y1 most of the time, and on occasion at the end of the semester, y2 also. So just go ahead and type in your equation just like it looks, 3x plus 5. 3, our x key to put the variable in, we want to use xt theta n key. The calculator can do way more than just y and x, but we're not going to use it for that. It knows if we're in the y equals screen that it wants an x, or that we want an x when we hit that key. So 3x plus 5. And then go to graph. And you should get something that looks like that. If not, your graph screen may be messed up. Go ahead and hit zoom, the middle key here, and then 6 for standard. You can scroll down to it and hit enter if you want to using the arrow keys, or you can just hit the number 6. And it'll bring you to your standard screen. And we're going to talk a little bit later about how to make adjustments to that screen. All right, so there you go. There's the picture of your graph. Now, of course, you can't just hand the calculator in when you're using MyMathLab or in class, so we need to talk about exactly what I want to see from this graph here. Hit your trace key. You'll notice that you get a little cursor on the line and some coordinates there. This is telling us that 0, 5 is a point on the line. So I want to make sure that 0, 5 is a point on my graph. So on my paper, I'm going to go to 0, 5, which is right there, and make sure I put a nice dot to indicate that I know that that point is on the line. If I want to find some more points, I could use my arrow keys, but look at how ugly those numbers are. It's giving us some really nasty numbers. Instead, I want to put in some x values. So I got 0 for free. That one's easy. If I do 1, enter, it will go to wherever the x coordinate is 1. It will give me the y coordinate. Here it happens to be at 8. So 1, 8 would be right there. And I'm running out of room to go up. So I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to go to -1. And that'll give me -1, 2 on the other side. And that's right there. So now I've got 3 points on my line, and I know it's a straight line, so I can just fill in the rest by drawing. No, you don't need to use a ruler. Just draw something that looks straight, that goes through a few points that you know are on the line. Right, here's a little more complicated one. Go back to our y equals screen, clear the old equation out, and we can put in -2 divided by 3 times x. Right? Negative, make sure you use the negative down here, not this. This is subtraction. This is negative. If you use this, it'll give you an error. And then +4. Back to our graph screen. Should stay in that same basic window there. That's what Zoom 6 did, was put us in our basic window. And we can use our trace key again, and that will give us 0, 4. So I'm going to remember to put that on my graph, 0, 4. But then if I put in like 1, I get a decimal. 2, I get a decimal. I don't want to put decimal points on my graph. They're not nice. So what you want to do here is go to table, which is the second function for the graph key. Second graph will bring you to a table, and I'm not sure where yours is going to be, but Mine started out at 3 just because of what I was doing with this calculator last. You can scroll up and down in this table and it will give you as many points as you want. Choose the nice ones. 0, 4, 3, 2 is another point. And if we go down a little bit farther, we'll get to 6, 0. So that gives us 3 real nice points on the graph. 0, 4, 3, 2, and 6, 0. And that is certainly enough to convince me that I understand that line. Right? That is your job for me, is I want you to be able to convince me that you understand how that line behaves. So it's straight, arrows mean it goes on forever, and you've got those specific points there. Which points? Well, that'll be important later in the semester. When we're graphing lines here, pretty much any points will do. Now, the most complicated part you're going to run into is when it's not in y equals form. Right? In the calculator, the screen says y equals, so we have to put in something in that form. You might have to rearrange a little bit here. Subtract 2x from both sides, and you get 5y equals negative 2x minus 10, and then divide through by 5. So y equals negative 2/5 x minus 10 divided by 5 is 2. Okay, so you have to put it in that form before we can put it in the calculator. Go to our y equals screen, clear the old one out. Negative 2 divided by 5 times x minus 2. And we've got a nice picture of our line there. And we can find the y-intercept very easily, 0, negative 2. And then go to our table and find as many nice points as we want. 5, negative 4 is a nice one. And all we really need is 2. So if we go 0, negative 2, and then 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, negative 4 there, draw a nice straight line, quote unquote, nice straight line through them. And that's how you graph lines using the calculator.